When we do get new Stargate on our screens, will it still really be Stargate? Welcome to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel. So, after dropping the news, again exclusively, that Mark Fergus would be the new showrunner for a new Stargate series and potentially movie in the new year, I've had lots and lots of comments. And lots of those comments have basically said, it won't be Stargate. It won't look like Stargate. It won't feel like Stargate. So why the hell should I watch this rubbish? Now, for one, I'm going to say it's the same argument we had Lord of the Rings. It's not even been officially announced yet. It's not been made yet. So how can we really judge it yet? So let's put a cork in that right now. We can't judge a series that's not even been done yet. I'm even getting some comments saying it's going to be a woke mess and that Hollywood can't make a TV series like this anymore. I would disagree. And to be honest, I'm really excited that Mark Fergus and Hawk Oasterby are involved in this project because I saw what they did with The Expanse. They did a really respectful TV show that really respected the original content. They made it in a believable, realistic way. And that's really important because Stargate always had that feel as well, didn't it? It always had that realism that it could, to be honest, that was always part of a big charm for me. And the difference between Stargate and Star Trek is that Stargate could have actually been happening. In The Expanse, there was always the same sort of feel, that it was realistic. So if, assuming the Hawk Oasterby and Mark Ferguson, nothing goes wrong and they get to make the show they want to make, then I don't see any reason why it would be any different. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share the video with all of your other Gator friends. Also, you can go to sci-trek.com for brilliant Stargate-related merch, just like this. You can even buy socks. And don't forget the SciTrek Sides channel, where I do loads of little live videos and other fun stuff. All of the links are in the description. Also, in the injection of humour into the series, I fully expect Mark Fergus and Hawk Oasterby to do exactly the same because they've done it with other projects. Again, Matt's done a video all about this, talking about the different things that Hawk Oasterby and Matt Fergus have done in the past, the sort of writing they've done, and hopefully a nice in-depth look at what we can then expect them to do with Stargate. They're not going to completely change their spots. They're going to do very similar to what they've done in the past. Just go and watch Iron Man. There is an injection of humor throughout that movie, but also an injection of realism, something that I think has genuinely been lost in Marvel movies since. And obviously, Mark Fergus wrote that script. So I expect them to continue along that form and to continue making a TV show that is most realistic and humorous. It's probably one of the reasons why Mark Fergus was so keen to do Stargate in the first place, because I imagine he looks back at SG-1 and just thinks, yeah, that's the sort of thing I could really sink my teeth into. That's got a bit of me written all over it because that's the sort of thing I'm good at. So again, I think we've got to give them an opportunity to really make something new. Now, as I did say in the previous video, when I was talking about canon a bit more, in lots of ways, this isn't going to feel like the Stargate we had. You know, we've got the whole thing about this on a streaming service now. It's going to be in 10 or 12 episodes. It's going to have a much bigger budget, which is going to, again, affect the feel of the show overall. But also, it's been 15 years since Stargate was on our screens. It's going to be different. But I actually honestly trust Mark Fergus to keep to the roots of what Stargate made Stargate. And actually something I think they forgot about when they did SGU. I thoroughly expect them to continue along the lines of it being a realistic TV show based and grounded in some sort of realism. But also, I really expect them to inject the humor into the show. Even in The Expanse, there was quite a dark humor. And that's something I've always really, really appreciated, to be honest. You know, when you see TV shows and oh, they're so down to earth and they're so grounded and there's all the drama and, you know, they're so realistic, but there's no humor in it. I always say, well, that's not realistic. I've always worked in quite stressful jobs. And, you know, when things get really dark, that tends to be when people's dark sense of humor comes out. It's how we cope with things. So somebody will be in the background making sarcastic comments, maybe quietly between themselves, but they'll still be there. We need a character like Jack O'Neill. We need the relationships and the people to bounce off each other like a family. And let's be honest, families take the piss out of each other all the time. So why wouldn't they in a future Stargate series, just like they did in SG-1 and SG Atlantis? So again, I know also that Mark Fergus is a massive Stargate fan. I've been able to dig out a few interviews when he's actually talked about Stargate in the past. And let's remember as well that he was asked by Amazon, what do you want to do? And he said, I'd love to do Stargate. Pretty much from that meeting onwards, it was always going to be him. They didn't want Brad for whatever reason. I actually think Brad made a little tweet about ageism in his industry and in the writing industry, and I actually think he's right. I think Amazon completely ignored even the possibility of bringing Brad on as a writer and a creator simply because they think he's past it and they wanted somebody younger. Now, I hope that Mark Fergus, and I expect him to be honest, will reach out to Brad Wright. Brad Wright, I think, would be desperate to get involved in some way, even if it was just a consultancy role. And I actually thoroughly expect Mark Fergus to be involved in that way. Mark Fergus, again, and Amazon are very aware about the social media. They see all the tweets and they see all the videos like this, and they see us talking online. And they know that a big part of the community are desperate for Brad to return and actually are threatening to basically boycott any new TV show if he doesn't. And if that happens, and Brad Wright does come back, and at least in a consultancy role, which I actually generally believe he would. I remember there were stories about the original Stargate, and he actually tried to get Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich to talk to them and to work with them on SG-1, and they refused. They sort of said, no, we're the movies, your TV, there. I actually think Brad Wright's a big enough man, and 100% I think he is, that if he was offered some sort of role like that, he would jump at it. He wouldn't just go, well, that's my Stargate, you're not messing with it. I think he would come on, and he loves Stargate as much as we do, let's be honest. I think he would come on and he would say, and he would help them, basically. He would come on and he would help them make a show that we'll love. So will Stargate still be Stargate? If Amazon let Mark Fergus actually do the job that I know he's capable of doing, yes, it will be. If Mark Fergus has got enough sense to bring Brad Wright on in some capacity, yes, it will be. If Amazon dictate to Mark Fergus and Hawk Ostby, though, what this show is supposed to be, and if they just think about the new audience they think they're going to attract and forget about us Gators, then yeah, this could be an absolute clusterfuck. But I am hopeful, because I've got to be. This is a TV show I adore and I can't wait to have back on our screens. So at the moment, I am going to lock the negativity out. I am not going to allow it into my brain. I am going to stay positive, because this Stargate series has been something I've been waiting for a very, very long time. And it will be awesome. It will be. I hope. If you are new to the channel, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. It really helps us out. And if you enjoy the content and you want to become a fully fledged SciTrekker, please hit the join button. As always, please stay safe. It's coming home, Gators. I'll see you next time.